The Merriam-Webster definition of leadership is the capacity to lead. I used to think that this capacity to lead did not ever change, and that certain people simply had greater capacities than others. But as I have gotten older, I have realized that one can learn the different traits that make a great leader and increase their own capacity to lead. In my own personal experience, I have recognized that some of these traits can be learned through not only challenges but also different motivations. A challenge such as working with a difficult person can be a learning experience to gain new leadership traits and recognizing that different motivations can have different effects on one's leadership traits. It would seem that everyone deals with a difficult person in the workplace at one point or another, but what separates the good leaders from the bad is how you deal with that difficult person. My challenge of working with a difficult person came during my time in the Marines. This certain Marine I worked alongside with was a few years older than the rest of us, his peers, which seemed to give him the impression that he already immediately knew more than the rest of us. However, time after time, it was shown that he lacked in certain knowledge in our field, which led to me having to try and teach him and correct his discrepancies. This was made very difficult as he would regularly become difficult to even speak to with his know-it-all attitude. This particular Marine could have fulfilled the role of both a bully and a roadblock to change, as defined on page 189 in chapter 10 of the textbook. He would argue that he already knew what to do and did not need any additional assistance when confronted about his lack of knowledge in a particular area. And he would even turn kind of nasty and fight back against anyone simply trying to help him. While trying to help him, I found it almost impossible to successfully communicate with him. I was not able to find a very effective communication style to use with this Marine. If I could go back with the knowledge I have gained from this course and the textbook readings, I would try to pivot my communication style to an influence style, as I believe this would be the most effective communication style to get through to him. Using this communication style while sitting down with him and discussing with him the facts of the problem and bringing up specific issues that need to be addressed, as mentioned on page 190 in the textbook, would have been very efficient in not only convincing him that he did in fact need some further training, but that he also possibly could have corrected his attitude problem. Knowing now what I know about communicating with difficult people in the workplace has helped me to further develop my capacity to lead, allowing me to become a better leader in the future. Realizing what your motivation is in the workplace can also be another changing factor to one's capacity to lead. Motivations change, and some motivations can be more beneficial to a person for developing their leadership than others. Personally, my motivations used to be more on the selfish side, wanting to work at least as possible while making as much money as possible, and not giving a second thought to the other people I work with. However, since becoming a father, my motivations have changed to want to provide the best I can for my son. And in order to do that, I need to be as capable an employee and leader as possible to make advances in my workplace and open up as many opportunities for myself as I can. In order to be a good employee and advance in the workplace, I need to be able to adapt my leadership styles to my specific environment using different situational leadership styles. I need to be able to adapt and change my leadership style between telling, selling, participating, and delegating, as shown on page 183 in the textbook. Each situational leadership style has their own advantages in different situations. While I will never claim to be the best parent, I do think I'm a fairly decent father, which gives me an advantage in the workplace to have a good sense of understanding and the ability to help develop my employees. Other people my age may not be parents or have different motivations. For example, a lot of my friends do not have strong motivations to perform well in the workplace. In my opinion, this may lead to them not developing their leadership styles as strongly or leadership traits as strongly, primarily the task-related traits, such as having initiative and accepting of responsibility, as mentioned on page 175 in table 10.1. Leadership is one's capacity to lead, which can be increased or decreased depending on a great number of factors. But learning from challenging issues in the workplace, such as dealing with a very difficult person, and identifying what motivates you can help to assess your own leadership capacity and then take action to increase it to make yourself a better overall leader.